If you're looking to finance a property and you want to get the best terms and the best rates, here's what you need to know. Hi, I'm Kevin Allen. This is Nick Thompson. We're with Trinity Mortgages. In the next few minutes, we're going to go over the pros and cons of using a mortgage agent versus the big bank traditional lending.
Now, as you start down your journey, you're going to be wondering and looking how to get the best rate, how to get the best terms. What you really should be asking is, who should you be working with? Is there really a difference between the big banks or a mortgage broker? Well, we're going to let you know.
Before we get started, let's explain the difference between a mortgage agent and a bank. At Trinity Mortgages, as a mortgage agent, we have access to dozens of lenders, where if you just go directly to your bank, they have access to their bank. If you're dealing with the bank looks to sell you their product. They're not necessarily looking outside of the box to see what options might suit you better. They're certainly not going to suggest you go to another bank because they have maybe a different product.
So now, let's talk about the cost difference. Well, there really isn't any. See, whether you go through a bank or through a mortgage broker, the cost is still going to be the same. The bank is actually paying the mortgage agent or broker to do part of their job for them. Rather than having an in-house individual assemble all of the same documentation, all the same numbers and putting it in the same format, we're doing that for them and they're compensating us accordingly. So it doesn't matter whether you have a current relationship with the bank, you're still going to have to go through the exact same hoops and put in the exact same information, documentation, and numbers that you would going directly through a mortgage broker. But now the real difference is in the service. See, when you go to a bank, you're not always getting the same individual. Depends who's on that day. But when you go to a mortgage agent, you're getting the same person every single time. And let's not even go down that road if you need to switch banks to a different program. Once you're with a mortgage agent, we have your information. We only need to take it once and we can shop it around everywhere. Now, the reason this gives us a real advantage is that we know your entire financial picture. We know you intimately, and that allows us to find the absolute best financing to suit your exact needs. Now, the bank's not necessarily going to know that, are they?
So is a mortgage broker better, or are you better to just deal with your own bank? Well, that just depends. If your own bank happens to have the best rates, the best programs available for the loan that you need today, great, deal with your bank. 100%. But if you want to have access to dozens of banks, see what their programs are, see how they compare to what you're being offered, then you want to deal with a mortgage agent.
One of the most interesting things about creative financing is that it's not always just about the lowest rate or the shortest term or the lowest payment. It's about maximizing and best leveraging your investment. At the end of the day, the vast majority of lenders are going to have about the same cost. The difference is the service that you're going to receive and the options that will be presented to you and you'll have access to. Getting the right financing can be one of the best decisions you ever make. But getting the wrong financing can cost you thousands, not to mention the stress and headaches.
So if you're thinking about buying a property and you want to get several options to maximize your investment, our Home Max program will give you all the financing options you need.
And hey, if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to us and we'll do our best to answer anything you come up with. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next week.